Well, now I'd like to bring in the former DHS Acting Secretary Chad Wolf. Mr. Secretary, thanks for being here with us. Well, Mr. Secretary, I want to ask you this. This incident comes, as I was talking to Chief Burke, about 3 months after the January 6th riots when, we saw tons of fencing go up around the Capitol. It's been mostly taken down. Some people are saying that they think this perimeter was taken down prematurely. Do you think it was too soon?
Well, again, from what we know, obviously the investigation is still ongoing, but from what we know, this individual was stopped at a vehicle barrier. Those barriers have been in place for years up at the United States Capitol. Obviously, where they have uniformed officers stationed will certainly be looked at, but the National Guard nor the fencing that they have installed really played a factor that I'm aware of in this particular incident. So I don't know that you need to conflate the two. Obviously, the security of the Capitol needs to continue to be looked at. But in this case, the vehicle barrier stopped this individual as it should have. But again, they'll have to look at where these officers were as they were hit by this vehicle going in. But other than that, the security procedures that are in place worked in this case.
Yeah. Obviously, after what did happen at the Capitol and it went on lockdown today, a lot of nerves around that. Some are saying they want to see permanent fencing go up for good. In spite of what you just said, do you think that that's a good idea, that there should be permanent fencing?
I don't think so. Not at the end of the day. Look, the Capitol needs to be accessible. Unfortunately, whether it's the Capitol or the White House or other iconic events in the D.C. and the National Capital Region, these are going to be attractive targets for individuals that want to do crazy and deadly things. And so you got to have the right security, the right precautions in place, but that can be done without a physical fence and infrastructure around that Capitol. Now, what I am in favor of is if there is threat reporting and specific and credible threat intelligence about large groups, do they need to put up temporary fencing from time to time? Sure, they may need to do that, but to have that be done on a 24/7 basis, year-round, 365, I just don't think the threat is there for that.
We're just finding out more and more about the suspect, Noah Green. At this point, law enforcement is saying it is not a terrorist-related event. Of course, that could change based off intel that is coming through. What criteria does this have to qualify as a terrorist attack or not?
Well, what we know is the investigation, you never want to really, talk about motives behind an attack like this without understanding and digging into their background, which is certainly what law enforcement will do over the next several days and weeks and frankly, months as this goes forward. But whether he's acting, particularly at the direction of perhaps a foreign terrorist organization, or he is harboring some other type of political violence toward a certain group of individuals, they'll certainly take a look at that, and that'll be behind that motivation. And a lot of that needs to come out, so we need to understand, what drove this individual to do this. Obviously, certain associations that he might have, different groups he has joined will be looked at, but attendance or membership into those groups alone don't necessarily, point to a terrorist attack. However, as they dig through that, I think more and more of that information will come out, and that'll be a judgment that we'll need to make in the weeks to come.
All right. Secretary Wolf, you'll be with us in a moment, and we'll continue to discuss the events of the Capitol today. Don't go away.